Hello, folks. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, back with another mind-blowing program. I hope that you took the time to listen yesterday. If you didn't, go back. This is probably the most important week of radio programs that you've ever heard. And I'm not going to go into why it is again. Listen yesterday, but it's absolutely blowing your mind. It's showing you that the foundation of Christianity and Western civilization is not at all what you thought that it was. It's not at all what it has been to us purported to be. And folks, this is stuff we've got to see, we've got to know, and we've got to react to. Yesterday I made reference to the fact that Paul, after his conversion, had reptilian serpentine snake scales fall from off his eyes. Can you think of this, folks? Dude named Saul, who's killing the followers of the original message of Jesus, really Yahushua and his apostles. He's killing folks. He's killing dudes. I mean, killing people. Burning down synagogues where people have accepted Yahushua or Jesus. Destroying their houses, throwing them in jail, beating them, killing them according to his own confession, and doing everything he can to destroy the original Jesus message, including killing the Apostle James at his own hands. The guy supposedly gets converted. His conversion accounts are contradictory, as we'll see today. And I gotta love Luke, this subtlety and the skill and the intrepidity with which he wrote. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. If you have even an inkling of intellectual integrity, if you have even a scintilla of scholarly objectivity, you're going to listen to these broadcasts and you're going to say, what the beep? And you are going to realize you've been duped. They say that those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it. Well, folks, those that don't study the real history are truly doomed to repeat it. And I saw something on Facebook, I think, that said, those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it, and those that do are doomed to sit around and watch all you idiots who do repeat it. Some of us don't just want to sit by and watch. And I want to thank Cliff Desmond, who's a great help to me. Usually does the introduction and the part where we go out on this show, but we're having some technical issues on that. He's arranged for us to have ChristianWhistleBlower.com, and it's now pointed to these broadcasts. We're going to have that fully fleshed out and up and running, and I appreciate Cliff for that. And I made reference to that fact that Paul supposedly gets saved, gets converted. And we'll talk later how what he identified as Jesus, Jesus identified as Satan. Very, very interesting. But anyway, he gets converted. First place he goes upon his conversion is to the house of Judas. Goes to the house of Judas. It's amazing to me. And then the reference that I didn't have yesterday, the reference is Acts chapter 9. And verse number 18, and immediately there fell from the eyes of Saul scales. And if you get into look at that word in the Greek, it's reptilian, serpentine, snake scales. And he received his sight and arose. Folks, put it together, man. He says he got converted. His conversion stories are contradictory. First place he goes, according to Luke, is to the house of Judas. And, you know, he may not have gone to a real place called the house of Judas. Luke put that in there to make us realize, wait a second. This dude just got himself saved and he goes to the house of Judas? Man, that's weird. And it's just to get us thinking and realizing that the fix is in, and to say it in a way that it gets through the Roman censors and doesn't get branded as seditious writing and get them killed or punished and the writings confiscated and destroyed. So let's look at these conversion accounts of Saul, a.k.a. Paul, the self-professed, never called by anyone else but him, apostle, except in Revelation chapter 2 where he's called a false apostle. Revelation chapter 2 verse 5, if you want to get technical. And in Paul's first conversion story in Acts chapter 9 verse 11, he goes into the house of Judas. Let me just read that to you. And then the Lord, and interestingly enough, this person, the Lord, that Paul identifies as Jesus, Jesus in Luke chapter 10 identified the very same entity, very same word as Satan. Jesus said in Luke chapter 10, and I'm doing this off of memory, well, you know what, we got into this, we might as well get into this. Luke chapter 10, I believe it's 18 and 19. Oh, look at that. 20 years as a Pentecostal preacher. You remember a thing or two. How am I doing on time? We're okay. Okay, so Luke chapter 10, verse 18 and 19. Jesus is speaking, and he says, "Behold, I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven. And I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." And then where Paul says over here in Luke, or excuse me, Acts, because this was called the Gospel of Luke and the Acts of the Apostles originally. It was all one. And Paul says in verse number 4 of Acts 9, verse number 3 of Acts 9, "I was journeying towards Damascus, and suddenly there shined a bright light shone about me from heaven. I fell to earth and heard a voice saying, 'Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?' I said, 'Who are you?' And he said, 'I'm Jesus.'" That's kind of the JDV, the Jeffrey Darty version, but you know, you're right. Look right there in the King James; it's all there, same thing. The same Greek words that Jesus said, "I saw fall from heaven like lightning," in Luke 10:18. "I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven, as lightning fall from heaven, as lightning fall from heaven." Luke 10:18, as lightning fall from heaven, is the very same Greek words as suddenly there shined about a light from heaven in Acts chapter 9, verse number 3. A light shined around from heaven, Acts 9, verse 3. I saw Satan fall as lightning, Luke 10:18. Same Greek words. But in one place, Paul says, "Oh, it's Jesus." In another place, Jesus says, pardon me, but that's Satan. Folks, I told you this is some of the most important stuff you've ever heard. The very person that was the center of the conversion, so-called, how are we doing on time, of Saul, was a person that Jesus or Yahushua called Satan. Satan. Paul says, "I saw the light, got saved." Jesus says, "Yo, bro, that light you saw was the devil." So it could be like Jesus said to those Pharisees, your dad is the devil and you're the son of a snake. The very same thing could be said of Saul. Paul, his dad is the devil. He's the son of a snake, and maybe that's why scales fell off the brother's eyes when he left the house of Judas. Folks, oh, you can't make this up, and you can't make it any more plain. You can't make it any more easy. The only way you don't get this and understand this is A, you don't want to, which is called willfully ignorant, or B, you can't, it's not your time, and that's okay. Man. Dude says he gets saved by an entity he calls Jesus. Jesus says, nope, that was the devil, Satan. So he gets up, he goes to the house of Judas, and then snake scales fall off of his eyes. Man, I've been doing such a lousy job getting this message out because it's so stinking clear and plain. And yet, it's just not having the effect and taking off like it should. And we're still reading from Apostle Paul Antichrist. Contact me at Gotham, like in Batman, LTD, at gmail.com if you want to get a copy of that book. 410 pages, annotated, footnoted. Original was only 350 some odd, so it's got an extra 50 pages to it. But folks, man, all right, here's some more for you to chew on. And I would love some of you Christians to explain this to me. In Paul's first conversion story in Acts 9:11, he goes to the house of Judas. Also in Acts 9 and 7, all the men hear the voice from heaven. Acts chapter 9, verse number 7. And the men which journeyed with me stood speechless, hearing the voice, but seeing no man. Okay? They heard the voice. So what? They didn't see a man. Oh, but in Acts 22 and verse number 9, Paul says, they that were with me saw the light. They were afraid, but they did not hear the voice of him that spoke. So which is it, bro? Were you lying the first time where you said they all heard it? Or were you lying the second time when you said, oh, none of those other bros heard it, just me? Or does the Bible have a contradiction? Is the New Testament blatantly contradictory of itself? Or did those guys that backed Paul's story first and said, oh yeah, we heard it, between the time of Acts 9 and the time of Acts 22, did they recant their story and say, oh bro, you know what? I know we said that we heard it. We didn't hear Jack, you know what? Those of you that have based your life on Christianity, you tell me which one it was. Was Paul lying in Acts 9, or was Paul lying in Acts 22? Or was the Holy Spirit who wrote every jot, every tittle, every line, and of course I'm being a little facetious, did the Holy Spirit make a mistake in Acts 9, or did the Holy Spirit make a mistake in Acts 22? You tell me. You tell me which one of those factors is true. And then you tell me how you can explain the Pauline Christianity, inerrant Bible, no contradiction, everything 100% true. You can't. You can't. Let me give you one more. Now we're going to save that for next time. Folks, the weight of this is getting to where you just can't ignore it anymore. It's amazing stuff, and I know it blows your entire foundation from underneath you, but how much longer do you want to live a lie? How much longer are you willing to be duped? Yeah, you can stick your head in some sand and ignore it. Go hang out at the Bible study at Bedside Baptist and Library Lutheran. And you won't even have to ever deal with it. But when you lay down your head on your pillow at night and you close your eyes, and it's just you and your conscience, as Ricky Ricardo used to say to Lucille Ball, what was his real name? Desi Arnaz used to say to Lucille Ball, you got some splaining to do. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, wishing you peace and light.